different camera angle tonight. And a couple of people have said Airfix 1 in 24 Mk9c Spitfire Mark, when you're going to do video. So I'm going to do it tonight. What is it? Sunday 2nd, I think. 2nd of April. April Fool's Day yesterday. So let's just cut to the chase. I've built it. If you follow me on Facebook, obviously I've been posting pictures on left, right and centre of the build progression. And I'm going to cover basically what's in the book, even though there's been loads and loads of people built it before. Obviously I'm not the first, and you know, as this kit evolves, I know that there's sort of like aftermarket parts starting to become available and one thing and another. That's entirely up to you. If you've watched my stuff before, you probably know that I just build it out of box because of financial constraints. You know, I'm not going to kid you on. All right. And I've got another instant coffee. So opening box and lots of lovely sprues and one thing and another. It's absolutely fantastic. First thing that you need to do is decide which option that you're going to go for, because in this particular kit we get, I think it's A, B, C and D options, all different variants. Okay. And up in the top corner there, look, that's where you get your option, and it all comes down to the variant and the year it will flow and etc, etc. And I particularly liked this one, so I went for a option A, which is the Johnny Plagueis. I do apologise, Johnny, if obviously you're not with us anymore. But if I've pronounced that wrong, because it is the Invasion Strike Bird. And I did say on my last video that I'd watched one of Greg's videos. He'd done a 1 in 72 Hurricane, and that he did that with Invasion Stripe, and it'd been ages since I'd done one, and I wanted to do an Invasion Strike Bird. Now, as it happens, Dave down at club came up trumps. I weren't even really sort of like planning on buying it. There's quite a few of the lads from down at Sesco and Emsworth Community Scale Model Club going to Telford in November, and we're all saving like crazy, and this was going to be one of the kits that I was going to buy, because I'd seen it at last Telford, and as soon as I saw it, same as I said earlier, we Jimmy Banff, and we both agreed that's definitely one to build. But I put it off. I didn't buy it then. I could have done. I didn't buy it then, and I sort of left it until all the hype had died down, if you will, because it's sort of like cheating a little bit, in that, you know, I can see other scale modelers building it. And the cheap part is that, look at me, I'm smiling. The cheap part is that when I watch their videos and they're going, oh, you should watch for this, and oh, you need to know that sort of thing, I think, yeah. And by the time I come to build it, I'm literally just sailing through. Do you know what I mean? It's how it is. So the kit itself, you've got you've got three main sort of parts, three main assemblies that you need to that will bring this bird together. Number one's the office, number two is the engine, and number three is the entire final fit. Okay, so because I'm a backwards builder, I opened the book, and number one, I saw the seat. Bin that, absolutely no chance. Let's get right to the page where we start building engine. As a detailed out-of-the-box engine, I don't know nothing about Spitfires. I'm not a World War II builder. But as far as I can see, it looks the absolute business. I'm going to start and put some pictures up. You don't need to see my ugly mug. I'm going to start and put some up. But basically, I started with the engine, right, because it's, even though, like I say, it's great out of the box, there were one or two little things where you look at it and you think, actually, I can just tweak that. I can add some hoses here. I can add some pipes there. And the two options that you get of building it, you can either build the kit with the engine completely on show, or you can build it completely covered in. Now when you build this kit with the engine completely covered by all the cowlings down the side, you don't need to do very much as far as engine detail is concerned. That's up to you, because obviously these are the cowlings, look, for the top and the side, because obviously, you know, you're not going to see it. But what do I say? If it's in the box, it's going on, right? And that's what I wanted to do. Okay. So for me to do the engine first, and I was looking, and even though I'd sort of seen the A version, I think it was the A version, again, when I started looking through the instructions and looking at the A version, the B, the C and the D, I got to the point that absolutely sealed it for me, which was, and this is how you know, this is how easy I am. The bit that got it for me, that absolutely defined which version that I was going to build, was actually that compared to that. And if you see here, look, you've got your A, D and E. So your versions A, D and E get that massive scoop on the front, and this particular one with the baby scoop on, we'll call it baby scoop, is version B and C. A, B, C, D, E. So there's 5 versions that you can build. So I'd already sort of like thought, I do like that Invasion Strike one. Thanks for sort of like, you know, showing me the way there, Greg, because it's been a while, like I said. And then once I'm sort of starting to go through instructions and I see that massive scope, I'm like, yeah, that's the one. So built the engine first. I didn't do the exhaust system at first because they're individual parts, and you know, when I'm building, I'm sort of like, I know how it's supposed to look with the rust effect, but I'm not quite in the zone on how to do that. So I left the exhaust because there's they are individual. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6. There's 6. So there's 12 because there's 6 on the side. So I sort of like left that till, well, right at the very end, really. I knew that I wanted to have the guns out because you can have the cowling fit on top with the panels. You can have all them off as well. And at the end of the day, you know, it's such, I want to say now, it's such a great kit. And again, them that's followed me on Facebook, they know how much I've loved this kit. If it's in the box, it's going on. If it's something that I can expose, like the gun areas and the cannon areas, I'm gonna do that, right? I'm that kind of guy that milks a cow on all 4 tits, right? Because at the end of the day, you've paid your money, and the only people that will ever see this is me, missus and kids. I'll take it to work to show Gaffer like, because he likes to see me work. And then it'll just be me then that sees it for the rest of my days. So, you know, I want to see what I've been able to do. So, started on the engine, right? I'm sort of flicking through, and I've got to say, when I first started building this kit, what can I say? I was a little bit scared, actually. You know, I'm a 52-year-old bloke, 20 stone, 6'4", and I must admit, I was like, oh, you know, have I got the skill to build this? Because I doubt myself all the time. Even though I usually turn out something half decent, I've still got that air of trepidation that goes, what happens if I bollocks this up? What happens if I don't quite get this right? You know, what happens if that goes wrong? So there's always that, you know, can I actually do this? And I do know some people that say, I've got this kit, and look at this, it's not a level 5, it's a level 50. Boom, they're straight in, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I couldn't do that. Definitely not. So started with engine, and the engine is a build in itself. Absolutely beautiful. The part fit is exquisite. Okay, let me just spin it round here so I know what I'm talking about. The part fit is exquisite. Every single connecting point marries into the correct connecting point. When you've got male and female and they go, ah, beautiful, that's what you want, okay? And I did say on my Facebook post that Airfix have really outdone themselves with this kit. I did actually fancy the Typhoon, you know, that they brought out a couple of years since, and I have been following a chap on Facebook recently that's built it with the full green engine. Part of me goes, whoa, God, that looks terrible. But it's actually true, it's real, it's a real colour. And I do fancy that one next, especially to go at the side of this one. But I've heard that that particular kit's like rocking horse shit now. So, done engine, I think that took me a couple of weeks. You know, you're looking at a couple of sides for the block, I think they call it. I'm not a mechanic. 3 parts for block, and then a bit on top and a bit at front, and some manifolded type system, and then it's 2 halves onto one. And I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous. The detail in it, as far as I can tell from a plastic kit builder's perspective, right, I'm not a Spitfire mechanic, looks absolutely superb. All the individual parts, all precisely engineered. There's no room for error on this kit, no room at all. Okay, and I'm talking here about a thou. I'm talking here that, you know, if you paint something and you come to put it on and marry that up to another part, even that thou thickness of a paint can throw you off. That's how precise it is. It don't take no prisoners. Okay. And then obviously, because I'd done engine, then it was bulkhead, the front bulkhead that the engine attaches onto. And I know I've got some pictures of that. I'm just flicking through while I'm casting we are. And then after that, there's the outer frame. But again, I left that off because I can see what I've got to do. It does give some great colour call outs as well for this kit, but all the time, while I'm in the process of building, I'm also in the process of watching other people build. Now, obviously I can't do a camera down, videoing, editing sort of thing yet, because I'm doing this on my phone. However, there is, I know Nigel's built it, or is in the middle of building it, either. I know there's a couple of others, but I want to, if you've got this kit in your stash, and I do know one particular person that has, if you've got this kit in your stash, and you go, I can't wait to start it, but I'm just going to sort of hold off, and I know he's absolutely chomping at the bit. The guy who I'm going to recommend that you watch on a build sequence video is a chap called John Alec's Scale Modelling. Alex is not A-L-E-X. In fact, I'll put a link in the description if I can. It's John Alec, so A-L-E-C apostrophe S. John Alec's Scale Modelling with 1 L. He's currently up to episode 7 on his build. He's such, I don't know where he's from, he's definitely not English, he's sort of like American or Canadian, that sort of way out, because he's got that accent. But his voice is just, it's great, and he does make me smile every time. He uses the same sort of intro on all his videos, not like me, I change him up all the time. But he's got such a beautiful mellow voice, this geezer, and as soon as you click it and it's like play, it's like, hi, welcome, thanks for tuning in. And it's like, mate, I can watch you all day. So if you do actually, you know, drop onto my channel, mate, thanks a lot. John goes through every little detail, describing the hows, the wheres, the whens, the whys, the who's, the hows, the absolute everything. I had actually started building it before I clocked onto John's YouTube page. I think I'd sort of like I did actually. I started the engine, and then I started looking more and more, trying to get some more research done. And it was then that I stumbled across John's page. What I sort of like were doing was getting on to the next part, having a look, doing a lot of dry fitting, then watching his video to see if he threw anything up that I needed to know. And there were 1 or 2 bits, but in the main, touch wood, are actually alright. Once the engine is built, you can put that to one side and you can move on to Office. Okay. Office it's a kit on its own. It's absolutely gorgeous. There are some intricate parts in there. There are some parts that need decaling. There are some parts in that office, certainly in that sort of back area there. I think there's like a radio box that you will never ever see because it's covered in. And I know a couple of people have talked about the thickness of the seat belts on in the office, so I'm not going to dwell on that. Look, at the end of the day, what the other people who have said about the seat belts, it's true. They are slightly ever so thick. Okay, I did use the back harness because at that particular time the photo etch wasn't available. But I have actually got some very thin cloth, if you will. It's not t-shirt cloth. It's a different kind of cloth. But I've got some cloth that I painted brown and attached a couple of buckles on, and actually it looks alright. I don't think I've got a photo. So my seat belts, because they're made of cloth, I'm doing that, you know, to replicate my dangling cloth. They were able to sit down a lot nicer in the exact same position as what it shows on the kit. I just used a different material. Material being the word, and not plastic. The Office, you get some, I think they're oxygen tanks. You can paint them, weather them, decal them, absolutely everything. You will never ever see them because they're right in the sort of gubbins there. You never ever see them, but it's part of the enjoyment of the build. In that, you know, you get to say, well, yes, I've done them and I've taken the photos and I can show you the progression as I'm going along. Okay. And when you're posting on Facebook, you're getting rounds of applause and thumbs up and one thing and another. Everybody paints them, they all do them. Some people I've known, you know, there's two little sort of like valvey bits at the bottom. Valvey bits, is that even a word? And they have actually attached hoses to those to come out into the cabin. I didn't go that far. Loads of little, I think they look like throttle levers and undercarriage levers and one thing and another. Follow the instructions, okay, as far as the build is concerned. Follow the instructions and you won't go wrong. There's bulkheads going in at a specific time. There's strengthening bars going in at a certain time. You do get, I think it's kind of like a bit of a bulkhead that the seat actually attaches onto. And again, when you look at it, and it's all the little holes around the perimeter, they're all begging to be drilled out, and yes I did. Even though when you do look at it now, which I can see, you can only see the top three, but I did them all. And you whack the seat together and that looks great, it looks absolutely fantastic, and like I said, the parts marry up absolutely beautifully. Lots of strengthening bulkheads and sort of like, you know, strengthening bits going in, one thing and another. Absolutely fantastic. Lots of pre-painting that you do. One of the things that I do, and I must admit, and I was talking to one of the lads down at club about it the other day, if I've got a couple of parts that I know, you know, that's paint on paint, I will actually use a little bit of mascol just to sort of like pop into the, you know what it is. Just to paint onto the male area and the female area, just drop it in, so that once I'm painting and I can just sort of rub it off with my finger and you've got bare plastic. That's what I do, because as we know, glue don't like sticking to paint. Instructions up to press, and we're up to stage 38. You can't see what I can see, but everything is pretty self-explanatory. There's nothing really that trips you up, and if there is a part that looks particularly, oh, chuffing hell, how does that go in there? There's usually another diagram just either in it. It's sort of like a picture-in-picture that shows you exactly how it goes. So yeah, no drama there. Okay. I'm just going to touch on, So problems with the kit? No, there ain't no problems with kit. But I'm going to touch on the a couple of lessons, if I can remember what I've learned. Okay, like I say, I watch other people so I can learn from them. And if you're going to build this kit, and look at John's YouTube channel, and I'm sure he's absolutely fantastic. He'll guide you through it. Stage 45. So get a pen and paper, or get your book out, or your phone, or whatever. Stage 45. There is a couple of parts here. It's for the front bulkhead, and the part is E1, and the attached part is E11. Now, I was talking to Mark Little yesterday down at club, and if I were to build it again, and the chances are, I know I say this all the time, yeah, I'd build it again. The chances are quite high that I would build this one again. In fact, it will probably be on my radar at Telford. Stage 45, stage 45, part E1 and part E11, I would not attach them. For the simple reason being, it's the fuel filler there at the top. And again, I'll see if I can take some photos, or maybe I've got a photo already. Mark will know what I'm on about. Once you've attached that on and you put it in and you manoeuvre your engine inside, it's a little bit low. Only a mil, but it's a mil. And in this scale, with this amount of money that you've invested into a kit and your time and your effort, I would not attach that on. I would probably trim that part, E11, and actually put it in from underneath on its own. Okay. With the different variants, you get different elevators and rudders and all sorts of things. And again, just follow your instructions. You'll not go far wrong. Okay. Then you get onto one of the really interesting parts. So I'm moving forward a bit, aren't I? Engine, done, tick that box. Office, done, tick that box. Right, so what's next? Next you move on to your wings. Absolutely. Mwah. You know, when you move on to your wing section, which is stage 55. It starts on 55. And you start to slot those sort of like strengthening bars in. 56. When you get on to stage 57, that's when you start putting your wing spars in. And what an absolute joy. What an absolute joy. Because as daft as it sounds, and this is going to sound really, really daft, but you might relate, it actually feels like you're building a real aircraft. Now, obviously you're not. Wood scale modelers, but it feels like you're actually building the parts that make the kit complete, if you will. Okay. And again, it does say, don't glue yet. Don't do that. Don't do. Listen, follow instructions. Okay. When it tells you not to glue, don't glue. When it tells you to glue, get some in. 72, 73, we're all into the old wing spars, and absolutely fantastic. And then you get onto your cannon housings and your gun housings, and you can build the guns. And again, you can tighten them up to what you want. Whether you're going to have them exposed or not, obviously I did. Once you've sort of like done that, on your wing spar, this is the way that I built it, by the way. I don't think that this is the way. I think it tells you to put the fuselage sides together first. Yeah, it does. I didn't. On stage 46, it does actually say, right, now you've built your office, you can do that, clink. But I didn't. I built the office and I'd done all the bulkheads, and I kept dry fitting again because of my own, oh Christ above, I hope I've done this right, kind of thing. I can't do a bull in a china shop, right? Once I built the office and everything, I put all that to one side, and then again I'm flicking through a book and I'm thinking, actually I don't need to build that bit right now, and I don't need to put that together. So that's why I started on wings. And like I said, all your spars, all your little pipes and all your hoses and everything, all superb. all your bullets, your bullets are out, and you can put, you know, one every 5 or one every 6 or whatever it is. Paint the head a little different colour for your traces if you want to. Stage 91, stage 90 and 91. If you want to have a look at that, I did leave mine off the part, and the part is F1 and F18. Okay, I did leave that off. It's on now, but originally I left it off because I didn't know whether I was going to have that cover actually on, glued on, or whether I wanted to have option leaving it open. And the other thing that I will say about this kit is, when you're building, I'll use this as an example. So when you're building the cannons, the guns, etc., and it says that you need part F52, excuse me, let's see if we can find a common denominator here. So you're onto your wing spars, right, and it says that you need part, get ready, 43. This is F43, F50, F39, F51, F45, F14, F20, F36, F35, F38, F42. Can you see where I'm going here? Okay, so when you're building a particular component, it's all on one sprue. I've got sprue holder, as you know, and it was absolutely fantastic for that, because out of all the sprues that you get, when you get into the book and you're like, right, I'm going to do this particular bit, and you sort of flick through and it starts here, and you flick a few pages across and you go, oh, it ends there, so all that is F. So you can get sprue F, bring it to the front at sprue holder, and it's just literally there all the time, which were absolutely cracking. Okay, couple of, I think they're either radiators or something like that. There's 2 of them. Again, fantastic, and I'm sure there is there's some mesh grills at the front. I'm sure that it won't be long before somebody decides to bring some photo etch out to swap that part out. Again, back into engine, all that sort of thing. Once I got the office done and the engine done, the wing spars in, put the upper wing halves on top, then I went back through the book, back to the office, right back to the start, checking it off. I've got to absolutely guarantee that it's absolutely cocked right. Have I done this? Have I done that? Tick, 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 tick. Yeah, done it. Oh, I've circled that because I've left it off for now, but I can go back to it. Actually, just skip forward, back in book. Let's make sure that I'm not going to hinder myself in getting that. And again, this is where, you know, it's sort of like, say, read instructions, mate. Read instructions. I know scale models, we call them destructions, don't we? Especially when you've got older kits and you can't make head and tail of what it is. But this particular one, follow your instructions and you'll not go far wrong. And keep flicking forward. Okay, keep flicking forward to see, oh, I've done that. Well, actually, before I do that, what's next? Okay. So then it's the 2 halves on. It's the rudder belt, the stabilizers, the little attachment at the bottom. Left the cockpit door off, masked the glazing up like you do. Then went on to the propeller, stuck the bits on. Undercarriage, started doing that. Absolutely spot on. Just watch what you're doing with that undercarriage, because, in fact, while I'm gassing, I'll see if I can find it. There is a particular way that you've got to put this undercarriage on, and although the engineering is absolutely fantastic, right, it's very, very, I'm not going to say it's very easy to bollocks it up, but it's very easy to bollocks it up, because step 2, 2, 3, and it's probably going to be back to front, so step 2, 2, 3, you can see, look, that there's a tiny little attachment goes into there, and then obviously you've got your other side. So far so good. You've already sort of like put your stem together, okay, and again the parts in red are what you've already done. It's when you get to this particular stage, okay, that it's not a hole and a leg and you just go, oh yeah, thanks for that, brilliant. it's that, and then once it's in there, then you've got to push it in to a recess like that. I had to shave mine, okay, ever so slightly. Let me just see if I can find it, because I'm sure that I can. Let me just have a look. So it's that tab. Bear with me. It's right. Okay, so step 221. Okay, step 221. Sorry for me big head being in way. You can see it's actually that part there that fits into the hole, and I did have to shave it ever so slightly. And again, that's because the tolerances on building this kit are so slim. It's zero tolerance. If you haven't got any paint on it, it'll just go. Mwah. If you've got paint on it, it won't fit. Okay, so be careful. Undercarriage were an absolute doddle. Even the rear little landing leg, little wheel brace, that were all okay. Then step 2, 3, 5. Then actually you go back into office just to put the heads up on, and a couple of aerials on 2, 3, 7, couple of bits. No drama. Options that you get with canopy. You do actually get 2 canopies in this one. Okay, and I will read this out to you. It does say, if I've just looked up in surprise, it's because Paul's ringing me. On step 238, note, it is not possible to make the true bulged shape of the Spitfire canopy without having the seam line through the centre. It should be possible to polish out the seam line from X22, that's the kit part, but if preferred, we have included an alternative canopy, part number X15, X15, which is less bulged but has no seam line. So again, once you have got your clear sprue part and you're up to the stage where you go, all right, okay, let's have a little look here. You're either on that train of thought, or you're on the train of thought that seam line, piece of piss, mate, I'll polish that out, fill your boots. Or you might be in other camp that says seam line, oh, no, can't do that, Christ above. So it does give you the option. And I got my sanding sticks out, we'll leave it at that. Not showing off, cause, well, it's not tricky. It's 2 bits of tape and off you go. But it can be a bit twitchy bum. And that last part, you're onto your propeller, which again is an absolute dream. It's gorgeous. Maybe I've not conveyed it in this video. I just how absolute gorgeous this kit is. Once I'd built it, I'd left obviously certain parts off. I didn't actually fit the engine into literally lastminute.com, and then you're looking at your paint instructions, and I'm onto a couple of forums asking a couple of lads, you know, what's the equivalent of this particular paint, and what's the equivalent to this particular paint, because down at bottom of page there, they do give you the Humbrol colours, and if I leave it sort of held up long enough, you should be able to see, you know, spinner. And I've put the MRP colours underneath because MRP is what I use, because the paint is so lush. Shall I drag it forward a little bit for you? I don't want to, well, I don't want to chuff and drop it, obviously, do I? Okay, and I know that the lighting in here is pretty poor because I'm down to 1 strip light because that one's packed in. MRP. So for this particular build, I've got to be really careful now. I'm really close. Black base. Now MRP black primer, 8 psi for that. But you know when you've watched videos in past of people doing black primer, black basing, and they're literally fucking bath it, right? And it's like shiny black all over. Not for me, that, mate. Not for me. My black basing is ever so thin. It's micro thin, because at the end of the day it's a primer. It's there to do a job, right? Obviously, but I don't want to take up any of this absolutely stunning rivet and panel line detail that Airfix have obviously invested a lot of time and effort into producing for us. So I painted it black, and then again, you know, you sort of like, you start to move on in how you're going to paint, and whether you're going to do that sort of squiggly line part, whether you're going to paint it grey and then go over your black lines to outline your black lines. There's loads of different methods in there. The MRP paint, for me, at 7-8 psi, absolutely beautiful, and I'm hoping that I took some pictures. I've left enough space up here to put them on. Black based it, and then I actually painted all the individual panels in the correct colours, in the correct MRP colours, even where the demarcation is, and I know I've got a picture of that. I did actually tape it off correctly so that I could paint the inner panels before I sort of like distanced a little bit further away and then gave it a top coat. I did the belly first to make sure that I were happy with colour there, absolutely superb. Then I flipped it over and then I started doing all the top colours as well. Okay, flip it round. I'm saying flip it round, but I might be putting some pictures up while I'm talking. Still haven't got onto exhaust, right? Well, there's no rush. There's no rush. Okay, and I'm onto Facebook page, onto the World War II Scale Modelling Builders, fantastic group there on Facebook, and obviously you can only post on their stuff from World War II. And I'm looking to see if I'm cheating, aren't I? I'm looking to see if anybody else has built this. What have they done? Not to say, can I beat that? Because that's not what it is. It's, can I learn from that? How have they done that? How have I got to send this guy a message? You know, is he going to actually say, jog on, pal, work it out yourself? Or is he going to say, oh no, mate, dead easy, black base, and, you know, a bit of chrome paint, bit of gunmetal, some rust paint, dip it in, etc., etc. Because, you know, well, that's what I'm like. And then one of the final pieces, in fact, if I just push it across there, you might be able to see if I put my hand, no you can't, I've got a bit of whiteboard there, antenna at the back. You can see here that there's the antenna. Okay, now I know that Spitfire's had antennas on, but it were a matter of does this one have it on, because on the pictures, etc., etc., I can't see. There is no wire, there is no antenna on this particular kit. However, rewind 20 minutes and I said, I'm going to look at it for the rest of my life. If I want an antenna on, a clothesline, I'm having one on. So that's what I did. Alright. Now, the aerial stem that you get, which is, in fact, I just need to pull it up here a little bit. The aerial stem that you get, which is that one, you do not get the little part at the back that the aerial attaches into. And again, I was talking to Lyd about it yesterday down at club, saying, well, I do want to do it, bro, you know, I'm going to have to sort of work this out. And again, that's why I don't rush in. So, right, so, Shara, so how did I do it? Number one, I'll tell you, it's fishing line, which is clear. Number two, so what I did was I cut a length off, and I sort of measured it, you know, with an inch overhang, all right, and then I attached it to the back first. Not that you need to know this, because it didn't have one on apparently either. So I attached it to the back first and let it droop over the end like that. Okay. And the glue that I used was another little Shara one. It's called Expo. Okay, that's the one, but it comes with that, and that's the important part. Glue it on, rattle, psh, psh, Dave, and it absolutely instantly bonds. Okay, because you're not fanning about then. Even super glue, you know, you think about super glue, and you put something on and it's like there's a bloke sat on a chair, isn't there, on a wall, and that's not coming off, and you think you ought to do a scale model with a bit of super glue, mate, because it just doesn't work like that. But with accelerator, splish splash, hard as nails. And then obviously with this part, what I did was I did a over you go and tied a loop in it, and then feathered that knot up to the top, so that the actual hole on the line was just big enough to sort of slide over the top, and I got the tension right and everything, and that was absolutely spot on. But you can't just have a loop. You can't just have a loop around a wire and then coming back here, because you can see the loop. So to disguise that, it was a little bit of micro crystal clear, bobbed on, just, you know, cocktail stick, and just dropped on top, right sides, underneath, let it go off, and as it's going off, as it's 90% gone off, you know, which takes a while, because it's just PVA glue, it will literally then cocktail stick and just shaping it, and it did work. It did work. I've got all the guns exposed, so they all got detailed up to the hilt, if you will, to the hilt. To what I know, I don't know what they look like, and I didn't look on Google. So I've got the paint on, the MRP, I've got the invasion stripes on. It's time for decaling. Well, it's not, is it? It's time for glossing. My choice of gloss this time, because I normally use Alclad's AL600, but this time I went for that. Because I'm liking this MRP paint, I went for an MRP super clear gloss varnish, which is an MRP 048. I went for that this time. What's it like? Well, the MRP paint is just like, well, I've said it before, it's like angel's piss. Absolutely beautiful paint to work with. The gloss, I'm on fence. I'll leave it at that. I'm on fence. Okay. Went through airbrush, absolutely superb. Absolutely superb. As far as a super hard clear, I'm ready for your decals, mister, gloss coat is concerned. I only glossed it once, and normally I'd probably use 2 or 3, but again, I will get into the stage there in the build that I wanted to get it finished off now, so I only get it 1. Okay. So, in fact, I will tell you a little bit more about that in a bit. Once I've glossed it, then you're on to decals. What's the decals like? Well, all your instrument panel decals there at top at sheet, so they all get cut out individually. Then you're on to your decals of choice, your roundels and one thing or other. Solid set for me, red and blue, or blue and red, should I say? Blue and red. Did the go down? Absolutely superb. Absolutely superb. And you can tell with body language when people are, you know, because they'll go absolutely superb. And that's not the case. It's absolutely superb. Every single crease and rivet detail shows through with solid set, which is great. Invasion stripes, obviously masked off and painted. Okay. Yeah, every single decal, every single decal went on without fuss or fight. And I always start on small ones first, because again, I've noticed that if I do big ones first, when it gets down to time to do little ones, I can't be asked. So I have to psychologically battle my chuffing self on that. Decals went on, absolutely bang on. And then a matte coat. I'm going to be absolutely honest here, didn't put one on. And I'll tell you for why. This is where I'm coming back to that MRP gloss. MRP gloss, super hard and super lovely shiny after one coat. Not so much, mate. Not so much. It were enough. It were a gloss coat enough that give me that mirror finish that let the decals and the solid set solutions do what they had to do. But if you said to me now, here's a car model, we want it super glossy, super hard and super shiny, will you get a spray? I wouldn't use that. Once it's deckled, I've got the aerial on, I've got the canopy all sorted. One thing or another, it's just literally a matter of clipping engine in, taking the entire build down to the club yesterday for lid. Because, again, when you're talking about engine out or completely covered in, I had got a tiny little gap here that while I'm sat here in my shed and I'm holding the bird here, like you do, and I've taken the propeller off obviously, and I'm sort of trying to marry it up, and one thing or another, I could marry it up, but I needed that third hand, didn't I, to put my glue in and spray my accelerator spray, and you know, I ain't got one of them. So I had to get Lid involved yesterday, and he applied the glue and did the spraying while I sort of held it. One error on absolutely my part, but I do know that I think Lid's going to have a look for me. So while I am decaling the large roundels, and I've put one on, and I've absolutely bathed it in the set, the red one, and it's just going off nicely, lovely job. And I'm thinking, right, okay, so I can do the bottom ones, and I'll flip it over for you now. But in fact, I have got some photos, but this is a real life situation. Real life situation. You can see that there's a decal missing. So while I'm decaling, and I've got my cotton swab, and I'm rolling, and one thing another, and just when I'm sort of like, you know, you've got to keep your eye on ball. Just as I'm rolling that one, I'm thinking, yeah, and I get it sort of 10-20 minutes, and then I looked at it, and again, I sort of right, okay, let's get cotton swab back out, and yeah, I put my thumb, look at my thumb, and I went like that to sort of clamp the wing in my finger and thumb so that I could roll it again and paint it again, and lovely. And I'm absolutely, you know, I'm getting that goddamn thing to bed down thinking it's got to look painted on. Went like that, and then went, what the, oh, you are fucking joking. And I've got decal stuck on my thumb. It had absolutely crinkled and gone to shit. So that's why there's no decal on that side. And then last piece on the actual build, because again, I have seen loads and loads of people who have done this particular part in a closed position. And on my Facebook post, I did actually say it took me 20 minutes to keep looking at this part on instruction, right? Found it straight away, and sat here with coffee, scratching my head, thinking that's not right. Why is it showing? Why is it showing that? What's that black and white photo there? Why is that upside down? I just can't work it out. And you look and you look and you look, and I can honestly tell you now, because I am going to show you. So on your instructions, page 37, and we're talking here about part N19 and N1, and then on your other side it's part N20 and N3. When you look at the instructions on that, if you can read that and actually make head and tail of that, you're a better man than me, because like I said, 20 minutes I was sat here going, I ain't got a clue, mate. And it's actually for this little tiny little arm that's there on the wing, and I will put a picture up of this one. It shows you to put it in from underneath, and it's wrong. You put it in from on top. Okay, like I said, I'll see if I can find a picture and put it up. Built, glossed, decaled. Right, weathering. Weathering was a simple affair. 2 products were used, because sometimes I use a bit of oil. 2 products were used. The tried and tested florymodels.co.uk black wash. don't use black, it's too stark, it's too contrasting. It's my model, mate. I want that rivet detail and them lines to pop like the shit in a bed, right? I haven't done subtle. I want it to I want to be able to see every goddamn pimple on that wing, so I've used black. And does it look out of place? Most definitely not. And then the other product that I've used, I'm actually going to get it down, is AK Streaking Grime. Where's my finger and thumb? AK Streaking Grime. Now that stuff's like really, really thick paint. And once you dab that on with a 10-0 brush or a 5-0 brush, you can usually, not usually, you can use you put it on with a pin brush, and then you can drag it down with a wide brush. If it looks out of place, if it looks out of scale, if it's trying to make a mess, the absolute thing that will get it off, I'm just trying to find it here now and I can't find it, is Humbrol enamel thinner. Why haven't I got that? It's probably at the back of there somewhere. Humbrol enamel thinner. Okay, that's the tried and tested piece that'll help you out there. So it's all basically done. Aerial's on, everything's on, and then I've got this old base. It's a bit of solid wood, and I knew I'd got it. I found a bit of green. I can't remember what they call it. It's available in model shops, and it's really thin. It's like paper, but it's got texture on top. I've glued that down with a bit of PVA. And put some stuff on top to splodge it all out, and I've tidied it all up. And what I've actually done is, I don't know if you can see that, but that's actually the side of the box there, okay, that I've inlaid just to give it that tiny little finishing touch. Does it look professional? Does it shit? It looks alright. It'll do for me. Okay. Would I build it again? Without a shadow of a doubt. I've said that about so many kits in the past, including the Flogger, which was an £18 kit. I said, would I build that again? Oh yeah, of course I would, wouldn't I? When you start building these fantastic kits, and you appreciate how much the hobby is going forward, and you get used to great detail, great instructions, the paint that you're using is fantastic, etc, etc. When you start reminiscing and looking back, and you start going, would you build it again? And you go, yeah, I would. Would I build this again any day of the week? Okay, and there's not many kits I can say about that. The Tamiya F16 132, beautiful. The Tamiya 132 F4, gorgeous. And the Italieri, the Italieri Tornado. Because you know I'm a massive Tornado fan. I'm not a big World War II builder. Lancaster, yeah, done that. Stoker, Spitfire. So I'm getting a bit of a reputation, I think, in my old head, that I will build it again. It's this 1 in 24 Spitfire, like I said, there's loads of people out there that have done build sequence videos. I implore you to watch one. Like I said, John Alec's scale modelling. Superb, he will guide you straight through it, unless of course you want to say, I'll have a go myself, mate, you know, I know what I'm doing, then that's absolutely fine. It's just a shame that I couldn't film it while I were building it. All I can do is talk about it once I've done it and tell you if it's any good. It's going to sit on that base now, and it'll probably go in one of my cabinets, although with weight of it, you know, there's quite a bit of weight in that chunk of wood there, so it might end up going up here on my bench. 80 quid, absolutely well spent, fantastic, done it all in right colours. Would I build it again? Most definitely. It's definitely on my radar automatically straight away as a definite purchase for Telford this year when we go down with the club. And I might even do the clipped wing variant. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? Okay. What's up next? Up next is the Trumpeter 1 in 35 Hind E. And I have currently tasked Sean at SGS Models in Leeds. Do me a favour, mate, go and see if there's any aftermarket for this. Not stupid aftermarket, you know, I've got to keep it within context, obviously. 2 kiddies asleep, 100 foot away from me, and a missus with a padlock on my purse. No shame in that, because we all know that if I control up money, I'd just have a fantastic place to build in. Okay, what else? So yeah, the hind, I am going to probably look at the, I think it's DN models, do a mask set for that, because I do want to do the two-tone grey with the tiger stripe on it, and that is available as a mask set. So and then obviously, you know, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what's next. So that's that. Club's going great as usual. We're vlogging. I did miss last week, but I vlogged this week. Numbers are up and down. Or down yesterday because there was a show on Chilcon that a couple of the normal regular lads go to, and we had Paul Patton. Nice one, mate. Won a couple of awards, and it's always great to see. Paul is a fantastic modeler, but also an absolutely top bloke as well. Top bloke. And then finally, before I wrap up, Kits for Kids. So Kits for Kids, as you know, we launched in January. We are currently a shade under £3,000 on what we've raised there. We're trying to raise 5 so that we can buy 500 kits to give to the kids this coming Christmas that are not going to get any Christmas presents, or they're in hospital, or, you know, disadvantaged in some way. We're trying to raise £5 to buy 500 kits, and then we can give all them away. Okay, Hind is next. Spitfire's done. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're building, enjoy it. Take care. Thanks for watching. I know I've kept you for an hour. That'll do. Cheers.